So I tried to do my testimony yesterday and I had so much opposition, so I'm going to quickly jump on here and share my testimony. When I was a little girl, I went to a church service and I remember seeing a young lady up on stage rapping and singing, and it was really cool. It was like a concert. I thought it was really great. After the church service, we met in the hallways, and the young lady, maybe in her 20s, she began to share her testimony with us young children. I was probably like 7 or 8 or something. And she began to say how she always felt there was a void in her heart, and that a guy, a boyfriend, would fill this void. And she said that nothing was able to fill the void except Jesus Christ. And I knew what she was saying was true. I knew Jesus was God. I just wasn't saved at that time. You know, we all need to be born again. And as she was giving this testimony, maybe 3/4 of her testimony, it didn't seem like she was complete with her testimony. She stops her testimony, she looks at me and says, "Do you want to give your life to Jesus Christ?" And when she said that, my response was this. She said, "Do you want to give your life to Jesus Christ?" And even though I knew everything she was saying was true, my response was, "I'm not ready yet." And the reason my response was, "I'm not ready yet," was because I knew, even as a little girl, if I gave my life to Jesus Christ, I would have to make sacrifices in this world. There would be some sacrifices I would have to make. And I wanted to experience things of the world. Even as a little girl, I had that understanding. So I did. I didn't give my life to Jesus that day. And I ended up going through hell on earth, basically. I ended up having a boyfriend at a very young age. I was with him for a very long time, and I suffered an immense broken heart for years, actually. And I just went in a darker and darker hole until I cried out to Jesus when I was 19 years old. So when I was 19, I was home alone in my room, and my sin had led me to a dark place. God was already dealing with me because of my sin, and my sin got me to the point where I just couldn't face myself in the mirror. And I got on my knees and began to cry out to Jesus. And as I was asking him to forgive me, the last thing I said, my prayer, my sinner's prayer, was, "God, who cares what my flesh says? Take over." And the reason I said that was because at that time my dad was planting seeds. He had, grown in his relationship with the Lord, and he began to plant seeds and tell us about the Lord. And he told me that our flesh wants to do what's wrong. So in my prayer, when I was on the ground on my knees, I said, "God, who cares what my flesh says? Take over." And it was at that moment that I came out of myself. Well, my spirit did. I had one of those out